So this is the 17th of August, 2009. This is Mrs. Janet Perry, and this is her first treatment today. And tell me, how long have you had fibromyalgia for?
50 years.
50 years. And how old are you now?
52.
52. Okay. Can you just run through some of the symptoms you've had?
Well, pretty much ongoing since I was a small child. I've had aches in my joints, particularly in my legs. When I was a kid, they called it growing pains. When I was an adult, I always figured it was because I was sitting wrong or I was stressful. But it was only after I developed MS in the mid-90s and quit having a stressful life because I was home all the time, and the pains didn't go away, that I realized that there was something else going on. But I've always been hypersensitive to touch, sensitive to light, but mainly the thing has been the aches. Now, since I've had MS, and that's been almost 15 years, we don't know what of the symptoms that I have are MS or more things from fibromyalgia. All I can recognize of the things I had before.
Now, some of the things with fibro, for example, do you have problems with your stomach and GI tract?
Oh yeah, I've always had problems with my stomach and GI.
And how does that manifest? Is it?
I was diagnosed with a pre-ulcer condition when I was 7. I have my main problem, and it is that the pylorus valve at the bottom of my stomach seems to be very small, and so it takes me a long time to digest food. So my main problem with my stomach is nausea. It starts an hour or so after I eat and lasts for a few hours. And that's been an ongoing problem since my late teens, early 20s.
And what about, you mentioned a little bit before of skin sensitivity?
Yeah.
And tell us just a bit about that.
I was, as a child, incredibly ticklish, but I will startle if people will touch me, particularly in my arms. And sometimes I feel if people touch me, it feels like kind of electric. It just bothers me. And that comes and goes, but I can certainly remember that going back to my childhood too.
And what about fatigue?
I have a great deal of fatigue, and it has gotten worse over the years, certainly in the last 2 to 3 years. Since fatigue is also a main symptom for MS. I don't know if it's MS related or fibro related. I have always tired easily and not slept well.
Okay, and what about sometimes you have difficulty thinking?
Not so much. I certainly remember early on in the mid-90s after the MS, I certainly do remember periods of fibro fog. But one of the good signs maybe of having had this all your life is you kind of learn how to cope with things. So some of the things when you read about fibromyalgia, people talk about, they forget their keys, they forget where they put their glasses, they aren't sure whether they can turn the stove off and stuff like that. I mean, I always put my keys in the exact same place. I always double check the door that it's locked after I walk out of the house. So a lot of this kind of daily living fibro fog things, I think I just have developed methods to cope and not even, so if I have them, I don't realize because I make the things around me do the work for me.
And lastly, how would you say this is, and this is a broad question I know, but how has it affected your whole life?
I would say that probably I'm probably more of a type A person because of the fibro than I might have been otherwise. Because I'm very restless. I don't have a lot of energy, but there seems to be a lot of nervous energy, and that's always been a part of my life. And I think if that was gone, I'd probably be a more relaxed and different person.
Thank you. Today is October 16th, 2009, and today is Janet Perry's last day. And can you tell me just what changes you've noticed?
Well, I've noticed that I have better balance and I can walk a little bit better. And I didn't know I had much fibro fog, but definitely. There are things that before I started the treatment, I didn't know how to do anymore. Like, move my left leg when I walked, move it properly, and I can remember how to do that now. I don't have a headache every morning when I wake up. I am sleeping longer and better. Sometimes I can sleep as much as 5 hours without waking up, and before it was only about an hour and a half was the most I could ever sleep. I've seen bladder control improve greatly, and there are things that just little things that I couldn't do so well before that I seem to be doing a little bit more easily. I think my writing's improved, my coordination's improved, so a lot of things have improved.
Okay, and you want to remember that with the things you'll be doing at home, this should keep improving and improving and improving over the next 6 months, and you're aware of that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Any other comments aside from books?
No.
Okay, we spoke about books a lot. Okay, great.